Right, the Iowa Department of Agriculture is celebrating a milestone of buying from local farmers and giving food back to Iowa communities. News 8's Shelby Kluver sat down with the state's Secretary of Agriculture to break all of this down.
September marked 1 year since Iowa's local food purchasing assistance program began. Now, this is a statewide program that buys Iowa-grown food and then distributes it to underserved communities. And just last month, the program surpassed $1 million in purchases from Iowa farmers. Joining us now to talk about this is Iowa Secretary of Agriculture Mike Naig. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Great to join you.
I wanted to say congratulations on $1 million purchased. Could you put that into context for us? How much food is that for communities in Iowa?
Well, look, there's a couple ways to measure this. Of course, ultimately, those folks in need who are, going to Iowa's food pantries and food banks are receiving much needed produce and food, and it's local. The other maybe lens to look at is how many farms have been connected to those folks in need. And today, as we cross that $1 million mark, 194 different farms have been involved in providing that food. And so, any way you slice it, this is a great story. It's $1 million of a project that ultimately the total funding will be around 5.6 million. So as exciting as one is, think about what the total impact will be here when we get down the road and get all the way through the program.
And especially as, it grows in popularity across the state. I wanted to ask, when you say you're buying food from farmers, what exactly does that mean? What does it look like?
Yeah, so this is a partnership. So the funding is ultimately coming from USDA, working with the Iowa Valley RC&D, a community development group that's actually facilitating the program. So we rely heavily on our partners, the Iowa Department of Ag and Land Stewardship. Our team is involved in helping to guide this project. But really, it's fairly straightforward. We've got a growing a growing interest in buying local, right? And we're always looking for ways to diversify that marketplace for folks to have places to sell their produce, sell their protein, sell their dairy. And so this is actually a way, it's helping two spectrums here. One is those folks in need and providing much needed food through food banks and food pantries, but also providing yet another market for farmers. And so the project, actually, you buy food from farms that is distributed through food hubs to food banks and food pantries. And so this is really a pretty straightforward process, but we're actually physically out there buying food, buying produce, buying meat, those types of things from farms and distributing it to those in need.
You mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I wanted to go back to this. A few months ago, your budget for this program basically doubled. You're up to more than $5.6 million. I mean, you've already reached nearly 200 Iowa farmers through this program. How much bigger do you want to see this grow?
Well, I think even more. We want to reach even more farmers. Again, you start to connect the dots. What I'm really interested in is, these programs. These are programs that are going to exist for a certain amount of time. This program, it'll have an end date. It's going to, sometime off in 2025, I believe this will end. And but what we hope has happened in that process is that we've connected dots. It's the same thing that we're doing on farm to school. That once you provide an opportunity, once you make that purchase, once you get connected locally, that you're more apt to make those purchases in the future. And so this is really about building infrastructure, building connections, creating more market demand for our farmers. And when you lift all of that, when you build that out, that will pay dividends for years to come. So certainly we're targeting, we'd like to get to as many as 300 farms impacted, and teams working hard to do that.
I love that you talk about the infrastructure there, because that's what's going to live on long beyond this program. Really quickly, if farmers want to get involved in this, how can they sign up?
Well, certainly we've got information on the Iowa Department of Ag website, iowaagriculture.gov, but also the Iowa Valley RC&D is really facilitating this. Great partner, and you can find more information on their website as well.
Mike, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for joining us.
Great to visit.
And that was News 8's Shelby Kluver speaking with Iowa Secretary of Agriculture Mike Naig.